Hey guys! Alright, Goth Gloom here from Goth Gloom Productions. Had a lot of people ask me about the bubble tube, so here it is, the how-to. Gonna get right to it. This is basically a very simple prop. The main ingredients are a couple of these paperclip holders that you get from the Dollar Store. Back to school time, so go down, don't waste time, go down there and find those if you want this look. The second thing you need is a water bottle. I chose the Voss water bottle. I like this water bottle because it doesn't taper at the top until you pull the cap off. If you look at the way that's set up, it goes all the way to the top, gives you a nice clean look. And it just happens to work out when you pop that on top, it gives you a nice cover and you don't see a taper or anything. It is a little loose. I'll give you an idea for a solution for that. I haven't tried it myself, but we're going to think about it. But anyway, basically, this is what we're going to make. I kind of decided that I wanted to have some bubble tubes for our lab this year, and I worked on the idea for probably a couple of months, going through different ways to put connections on the bottom of it and everything. And I'm trying to hide the mechanism. And what I decided one day while just driving around with Mary was that, why am I trying to hide it? It's not a magic trick. And it dawned on me that it would look cool if I show you how to do it. So basically, I decided to just use a water bottle, and it's plumbed at the top instead of at the bottom. And you can see it just wraps around the bottom. So I'll show you guys how we do it. So the first thing we're going to do is go out to the garage, and we're going to drill one of these. We're going to drill this hole for this piece of 1/2-inch copper tubing. And we're also going to drill right through the top of this. So let's go do that. Alright guys, we're out here in the laboratory. And I've got the plastic bottle. And I've got the top that's already been painted. We already painted it like a copperish kind of antique color. I'm going to take one of these little things that punches holes. And I'm going to turn the cap over. And there's a little divot right in here. You guys see the little thing right there at the top. A little divot right in there. I'm going to shoot for putting it right there. And okay, got my little hole there. And now I'm going to take a 5/8 spade bit, put inside my trusty Makita here. Hold on to this pretty tight. You may want to put this in a vise. Got a little bit of residue in there. Clean out with a knife or something. But it pretty much will now take this copper, and it's a nice tight fit. So that's what we want. And now we'll do the bottom of this. Okay, it's really thin, so it doesn't take a lot. And there we go. So now you have a hole that you can run that pipe down inside of. Just like that. Ta-da! Okay? Now, here's the tricky part. We've got to put the tube inside here too. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little hole right next to that. It's a 5/16 spade bit, and I basically punched a little hole right here. There we go. Put the little hole. That's a little on the sharp side. Okay, so I've basically taken a file. I could probably work on that edge a little more, but for now, that's probably good enough. It's not going to break the tubing, not going to cut the tubing. So we've got a hole for the pipe, and we got a hole for the tubing. And we want to make sure that we do that on the top, and we want to make sure that we also do that on our lid here. That, and there's a place there to put the tubing down. You basically just line that up over the top of that. And whoop, there you go. So it'll look like that. So we've got our holes drilled in the plastic cap, and we got our holes drilled in the top of the paperclip holder. So now we're going to go ahead and get the rest of the parts and assemble this guy. What you're going to want is a 1/2 inch of copper tubing, and measure about 1 foot for this size bottle. It's going to depend on what you decide to use for your bottle. We're just going to basically just put this in here and twist this a few times. And voila. You're going to need some copper wire, and copper wire that fits inside the tube. So this is just regular 1/4 inch tubing, and I wanted something that would basically fit inside here and have a little room to breathe, because we're going to use this to pump our air in. So what I ended up doing was went down to Home Depot and I priced copper wire, and it's expensive. So and it was the wrong size. Everything was like way bigger than it needed to be. It was filling up the whole tube, but they had, and the guy there suggested, hey, why don't we just buy some 12 gauge black wire and solid core and strip off the wiring, or the sheathing on it. So that's what we did. We basically took this here. I think I bought like 20 feet of it. It was like 49 cents a foot. And we just stripped off all of the black sheathing. So you don't get a video of that because I've done that once. It was a pain. You will work for that, but you get this out of it. So that's probably the hardest part, is stripping this off. Alright. I'm going to measure off about 31 inches of this wire. Alright, I want to get this as straight as possible because we have to feed this through the tube. Okay, so after a little work and a little help from Mary, it might help you to get somebody else to help you do this part. We've got the tube, the metal inside the tube, and I left about this much on this side. And you want to do that because you have to put the little aquarium stone in, and we'll get to that. Alright, so I'm going to take this end here, just trying to remember how I did this, guys. Alright, there we go, like that. Alright, so I'm going to lay it on top like this, and then I'm going to basically twist it around towards me like this. I want that about that much at the top, and that's for future stuff I'm going to do with it to hook it together. So yeah, I'm just going to tighten it a little tighter. Okay, guys, I'm going to speed this up because I don't like my videos to be like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We don't have time for that. This is build season. You want to see this as quick as possible. So I'm probably going to edit the hell out of this thing because it doesn't really take that long to show you how to do this. I mean, I'm just twisting some stuff around. Okay, so now I can see that I'm going to come up a little short. So here's the beauty of this. I'm just going to slide it down. But I want to end up down at the bottom because I want my bubbles coming up at the very bottom. So I'm trying to get that piece of wire to come in at the bottom. So there you go. That's what you're going to end up with, something like that. So again, to recap, copper tube, copper wire inside of tubing, wrap it around. Okay? So then what we need is you got to go to the aquarium store and you got to get yourself one of these little bubblers. It's a little ceramic stone thingy. You get like a kit of them for like 3 of them for like $2 or something. And what you're going to do is you're just going to take and put this on the bottom. Now, since I have that extra on the bottom there, I'm going to go ahead and cut that little bit off because I only want enough to put that on. Those things easily work brilliantly. Okay, now we're just going to shove this inside like that. Okay, so we got that on the bottom. We got this on top. Now, this is your extra tubing because I don't know how you guys are going to plumb this thing. With my plan, I plan on putting 4 of these on top of a box, and I'm going to run all the tubing. This tubing, I'll probably run it through some other pipe and trying to make it look steampunkish, you know, and you know, then light it up and everything. So depends on how you're going to do it, but you can figure that out. So now you got your bottle, and this will just fit right down inside. Because this is a wide mouth bottle, that's the other thing I like about this, you can fit this whole thing down, just down like that. And there's a little thing down the bottom, and if you fight it, you can kind of get it to stick right on that. And again, I say fight it. This is where I wanted to make sure which way I was twisting it to, guys, because I want to make sure that when I put the lid on, it doesn't try and untwist. Okay? So there it is. Just like that. Real simple. Okay? And line up your little hole here that we put in so that it fits in. Oh, the other thing too is take this little piece of copper at the top and just kind of bend it straight up against that. So you just basically find the... You guys can see this. I'm trying to make it where you guys can see it, but I can see it too. Okay, it's kind of a tight fit, but get that on, spin this around, and then just come straight down with it so that you're coming in right over the top of, can you see the back of that? I want to come right over the top of this right here, guys. Right over the top of that so that it fits down, and then once I get in there, I just twist my bottle. Okay? Okay? There we go. Run that through. There. Get that piece of copper to come through. Okay? Take that, set that there, and then to run it, you just need to have a little aquarium pump. So that's what it'll look like. Now here's the cool part. It's easy to fill it. Unlike having to worry about it leaking and everything, we're just going to take the top off. And you can leave this on, no big deal. And we're just going to go over here to the sink. Just pull that out. Just set that on the counter. And I'm just going to fill it up with some water. And that water will be displaced a little bit when we put this back in. So I gotta watch and see how much it's displaced. Oh, that looks pretty good. See how that just went back in there real easy, guys? Screw the lid on from the bottom. Okay. Now here's the cool part about this. If you guys have ever taken air and pumped it into a bottle, you got to make sure it has a way to escape. And this pipe right here doubles as your air escape because it will allow the air to come up through it and escape. So you don't have to put any other holes in it other than what we've got here. So just pop this back on. Come on. There. Okay. So there it is. All right. We'll set it in that. I'm going to kind of straighten it up. Kind of gives it a cool magnifying look, huh guys? Alright. Unplug that one. And plug this up just to a regular aquarium pump. And there you go. Now, you could probably split the tube on the inside, and you could get bubbles on both sides. It bubbles on one side because that's where the little stone is. And I'm using the stone because it gives you the small little bubbles, which is what I wanted. To make it green, a couple of drops of green food coloring. You could also try hooking up some lights. I have an idea that I'm going to try. Eventually I'm going to take the bottom of one of these and cut it out so big, and I'm going to set it down inside like that, and then shine a light up from underneath. So this is kind of what I came up with. Built that little box there to house the lighting, and you can see I got 4 of the bubble tubes up on here. But basically, here's the inside of this. It's real simple, just 4 little plastic mounts for lights, and they're just 4 LEDs. And I got those LEDs from Amazon, but here is the finished product in its location in the haunt. And you can see we added the copper pipe. The copper pipe is running all of the air line down through from the top of each cylinder down through the inside of the cabinet itself. And you'll see here in a second, I'm going to go around the back. Alright, so as we're going around the back here, you can see that the each airline comes down, and we ran them out the back here. A little short run over here to the aquarium pump, and there's 4 different inputs on that aquarium pump, so it had plenty of power to run each of the bubble tubes for us. So we'll come back around here to the front and let you kind of take a look at the whole thing. So that's our Steampunk Bubble Tube how-to, and we thank you for taking the time to watch, and hopefully you guys can build your own and come up with something. I'd love to see what you all come up with. Thanks a lot, and thanks for subscribing.